Hey you guys, I did not want to ever make this video. I believe that is the biggest one, the alpha. He somehow jumped through this, through the top, right here, knocked through it. I don't know how, but he was flopping here around. I noticed the bright light, the change of light in the tank. As you notice, it's much brighter on that left side than it is on the right side. And sure enough, that guy was just laying at the surface. The canopy kept him basically, from falling out of the tank, but he was obviously, as you can see, he's in massive distress. Zulu's vividly worried for his well-being. We're gonna have to keep an observation because, as you know, these guys will take the opportunity to kill anything sick and weak. Luckily, we fed him just a couple days ago, so hopefully our cannon will pull through. He's vividly missing mucus. You can see mucus is starting to separate from his gills. He's been up there for quite some time. Piranhas are very, very resilient fish, but no fish can be out of water for too long. Recently, the sunfish jumped out and he made it, even after being in out of water for several minutes, probably 10 to 15 minutes. I don't know how long this guy's been out of water, but I would say just because he was stuck to the top, he must have been in there at least 5 minutes. So I'm gonna set this up on a tripod and just watch and make sure we don't miss anything. And whoo, I was just passing by here 5 minutes ago, as I am home. So imagine if I wasn't home. It's safe to assume that Alpha, our biggest piranha, would be dead. I gotta bring the lighting back to normal so they can calm down. I see they really stirred up the tank. Oh man. Time to repair it all. Now let's start with the lighting. The missing clips. How did this happen? There's literally pieces. These clips are missing. Oh, the good part is he's still breathing. So that's probably more than anything at this point, that he's still fighting. He's still trying to pull through. And I really hope he will. He's the biggest, healthiest specimen we have. Not to mention, I don't want to lose any, regardless of the size and whatnot, but those clips must have went into the water because they're not up here. How the heck did he manage to knock this all out? There it is. You can see one of them. They actually float. That helps. There's one. There's the other. So, the recent change that I noticed in their hunting activity, reaching for the surface so bravely, as you noticed in the last feeding video, reaching to the surface and really, spending some time at the surface apparently now, because one of them jumped out. The big dude jumped right out. Past, even though there's really no room to jump out anywhere. So he must have really, got lucky, so to speak, and got right in the crevice in between the two sheets where they meet. Squeezed right through and then got trapped on top without being able to fall back into the water, even though all the top lids were in place. So The lids were doing their job, and apparently this dude must have been really fast, torpedoed up, and he found himself at the surface flopping on top of his lids. Something else, gotta tell you. All right, I think we got the lighting back under control. They're used to now more of that dimmed light, so that should bring some calmness. This dude looks like he's struggling. Let me get you a close-up. Cannon is struggling to regain himself, and we have to watch him. Obviously, he could become a meal. But I hope that's not going to be the case. Look at his teeth, by the way. They're so serious. He struggles to regain himself. I see little eye movement, so he's watching the tiger bar zooming around him. And hopefully he'll get back up. I'm gonna stay here and watch him, obviously, because I don't want these guys to get any ideas to dethrone the alpha and make a meal out of him all at the same time. Ooh, I feel so anxious to see him, pick back up and make sure he's okay. There really isn't much more we can do at this time than sit and watch. Ooh, but let's check on the rest of the tanks. Important lesson, as you see, to secure the tank's lids and any other openings that may offer, this type of situation to sort of develop. Yeah, I can see he scraped himself quite hard on the top of his head, so that's probably how he got out, as he's launched himself out. I haven't checked the other side of his body to see if there's any significant damage from where he was, literally stuck, dried into the lids. His mucus is missing, so he is going to be battling a little bit of a, infection or whatnot, or possibility of developing some sort of infection. So once more, we're going to be taking a close look at him, keeping an eye on him, and make sure he pulls through. Hopefully he'll be able to feed soon and bounce back to normal. Well, without a doubt, this has got to be the second worst news for any fish keeper, or anybody that takes care of animals. But in this case, a fish keeper is to have a tank bust or a fish jump out or something like that. Any type of malfunction, which obviously has an effect on their well-being. I hope he makes it through. Let's keep an eye on the dude. I hate to be, bearer of bad news, but this is exactly how it goes. It's not always going to be, triumphs and glory. So, dude is still struggling. These guys seem to be doing quite well. No issues. That's all. That's always great. The Caribas are ready to get a fresh meal. Gotta add a little water, but that's for another day. Yeah, Zulu is vividly upset and worried for his friend Alpha, the leader of the Piranhas. I mean, he noticed right away when I dumped him in, he noticed that something really wrong, and you saw him, you know, literally poking at the glass, smearing his nose all over the glass as he was trying to pick him up, lift him off the ground, give him a boost. Our Zulu, yeah, buddy, you're a good boy. Our Zulu, he always worried. He takes care of these guys as much as I do, you know, in a sense. He accompanies me here, and making sure these guys have everything they need, just like Zulu has. He's gonna make it. I hope so. I hope so too. Alright, I'm gonna kill the light. Give him some peace and quiet. So much for quiet, Zulu. Yeah, that's alright. It's okay. I was just joking on you. Just joking on you. Well, he's still laying on his side. Haven't really picked up much ground, so to speak. It's no pun intended, but he has not gained any ground. Maybe slightly from where he first landed, but that's about it. Oh, I see a little bit of an attempt at fin moving. He knows he's gonna have to get up sooner or later, or there's gonna be trouble. Really do not want to lose the Alpha. It's gonna be tough. There's already, look at this, there's already chaos in the tank. They're starting to fight. They lost their leader keeping the peace. Now they're starting to encroach on everyone's territory and mixing in. Soon they'll be fin nipping and all that. So come on, buddy, I need them to get up. Get it together, leader. Starting to a little, you know, twitch a little bit more. So hopefully he's regaining some of his motor control abilities. This is probably his brain was deprived from oxygen to, you know, be able to control everything beside vital parts, which is obviously keeping his organs and his brain alive. His muscles are at this point kind of rendered useless until some type of recovery takes place and he can pick back up, hopefully. I don't know, you guys. Tough moments, I tell you. I mean, the last time I passed by must have been at least 15-20 minutes ago, so if it happened anywhere in that window, it had to be at least 10 minutes that he was, you know, that he was trapped up there, but he was able to dry up and be stuck to one place. Because when I tilted the cover, the lid, he wouldn't slide off of it. He was already stuck to it. If he was fresh, he would have, you know, slid right off and fall right into the water, but he didn't. Nothing new yet. Respectfully, somehow the pack is keeping distance without being too, you know, too invasive and aggressive towards him, even in his super vulnerable state. There he goes, there he goes. Yes, yes, yes. Looks like he's really trying Check this out, you guys. Alpha is picking up. He is picking up on him for off the side onto his feet, so to speak. And Zulu celebrating as well, as it is a good sign that he has picked back up. Not entirely there yet, still struggling, but much better than a minute or so ago. Yes, Zulu, Alpha's gonna pull through. I think his pack is kind of surprised, maybe relieved, who knows. Few guys probably upset at not being able to take the leadership, spot, the leader spot, but the leader is still here and still alive, doing a little better. Dark, upset, stressed out, but nevertheless a survivor. Alpha. We're not sure how he got out or what was the reason for him to launch himself, but maybe it was just a territorial chase that ended up being, an accidental exit. Probably some of the best close-ups I'll ever get, especially of him. Yeah, battered but okay. Big guy. He's doing much better. I would assume within the next 15-20 minutes he should rejoin his pack. He may hang back here solo for a while, or accompanied by his little pet friend, the barbarian, but he will pull through. Well, you guys, I'm glad to see this. I'm really am glad to see that I'm glad to see that Alpha is going to pull through. It was definitely a scary moment there for a minute, him laying there on the side all scratched up, beat up, who knows what sort of damage. But what's worse, he's in a tank with, well, let's just say infamous killers who are basically indiscriminate. In this case, sick or weakened, otherwise injured fish is a potential prey, an easy prey, and it may have resulted in a kill of killing off their own leader. So glad this didn't happen. I'm glad he pulled through. Keep an eye on him and we'll keep track of his progress and recovery. Thank you for coming, you guys. Don't want to make these videos ever, but I'm glad that that we did and that everything worked out, and I'm able to share with you guys moments like this. Thank you for coming. My name is Marek. Everyone calls me Bearski. This is my channel, and as you can see, we are keeping it as real as it is. So no hiding, no pretending, just how it is in the nature. In nature you'll have all sorts of aspects, positives, negatives, just to pretty much control chaos. In this case, chaos nonetheless. Till next time, my friends.